In this video, I'm going to show you an awesome technique that I use all the time today. In fact, it might be 80% of my niche research is done through this technique, and that's by reverse engineering website marketplaces in order to find niches. And this is a great technique not only for finding a niche for your first website to go after, but also additional sub niches if you have an existing website in a higher level category niche like an authority site. So let's say, for example, you have an authority site in the health niche. You want to continuously do niche research in order to tack on new sub niches and expand on more content for your authority site. And this is one of my best tactics, and let's explain why. Why marketplaces? So why would you look at marketplaces for information? Well, as a con, one of the not good sides about this is it's reactive niche research. You're not going to be able to scour every niche on the planet because you're only going to be able to see the niches that actually go onto the marketplaces and sell. So there's going to be a lot of niches, for example, off-market niches like casino, adult, and other great niches won't be shown. A lot of niches that I've discovered that have had the best ROI have not shown up on marketplaces because they're just too niche and they wouldn't sell on marketplaces. Like some of the fad diets, you won't find out about them right away because if they're on the marketplaces, it's already too late. So there's a few cons of why it wouldn't be great to look at marketplaces and why you do need a supplement with a lot of the tactics that you'll find in the niche hunting video. That said, this is what the pros use, and I'll tell you why right now, because you get full transparency on the niche you're going to go into. When you're looking at marketplaces, if someone's expecting to sell their website, they're going to have to show their revenue and their profit. I put a question mark by profit because everyone kind of fibs on how much it costs to run their websites. But you can take their revenue numbers with the confidence because they typically have to prove them with screenshots or walkthroughs or videos and stuff like that. You also get to see the ROI. What do I mean by ROI? Because you know the revenue and profit numbers, well, we can argue about profit all day, but because you know the revenue numbers, you can get a gauge on what it took to put into the site because you can look at how many links they build to that site and try to figure out, okay, for every link they built, how many dollars did they earn out of that? For every piece of content they built, how many dollars they earned out of that? We're looking for websites that either have a low link commitment or a low content commitment, but a high revenue that they afford for whoever owns the site. That's what we're looking for, preferably both a awesome content or link ROI. So the best benefit of this tactic, looking at marketplaces, is low risk. You eliminate all the risk. You're not going to jump into a niche that won't be profitable because you can see these profit numbers right off the bat. You're not going to go into a niche that's going to be too hard because you're going to see how many links it took to build a website in that niche and rank for however far they got when they're selling that on the marketplace. So these are the main reasons why I look at marketplaces for my niches. So we talked about this before. What are the marketplaces to browse? Flippa is going to be your free one. So everyone has access to Flippa, but you're going to find better deals on Empire Flippers and FE International. They just require a deposit. So, but for now, and I've found a lot of good gems through Flippa, and I'm going to walk you through the process on how to find awesome niches through Flippa. So when you're browsing Flippa, you just need to create a free account. You'll be able to see everything that I see. And you're going to want to select certain settings when you're browsing through content websites. First, are they revenue generating? Yes. Asset type, what kind of business is this? A website and online business. We're not interested in stores, e-commerce, just straight up domains or anything like that. You also want to check off that it's a content website and a review website. That's an affiliate website. A content website that does reviews, that's what we build. These are affiliate content websites. And these are optional. For industry, you can decide, okay, I only want to get into the automotive industry because I have a friend who drop ships auto body parts, so that's why I want to get into this. You can hand select these, that's fine. And you can decide whether or not you want to look at businesses that are currently on sale or that have recently been sold. Most of the time I will check recently sold because I'm looking at the ones that people already put a stamp of approval on by spending their money on them. So you can assume there's a little bit more vetting done. Okay, so here's an example of a website that just sold on Flippa at the time of this recording, and it's called 10powerup.com. You can see on the left-hand side, it's about power generators. So they've reviewed portable, dual fuel, I'm not sure what any of this stuff is, but inverters, solar generators, propane, whatever, all this kind of stuff related to making power off the grid, okay? So on the right-hand side, this is a typical screenshot you would see in Flippa, we would see that it's a content website. This platform is WordPress. It's 3 years old, and this is the most important number, the net profit. You also get gross revenue down below. So again, you can assume that gross revenue is going to be accurate for the most part, unless you're dealing with a scammer, and you should always kind of vet in the case that you're buying a website. But let's just assume that the revenue is true, and this site is making about $3,061 per month. Now, what can we do with this in our vetting process? Let's look at the content investment. And to do that, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to type site : the domain name, and you'll see here it says about 321 results. What that means is they made 321 pages of content in order to get this website that made $3,000 a month. So we can make a table like this. We have our revenue number, we have our content count in pages, and then we can look at our revenue per content. Now, I did a study that I'll link in the resources where I looked at all the different niches of sites that were sold on Empire Flippers. So broken down into categories, we found that in terms of content ROI, the medical niche was the best. For every piece of content, they're making $33, right? Now, where does this site fall in line? So it's about 953. It's about halfway through. Keep in mind, what we're looking at here on the table is the top 10. So it would fall into some of the top niches. It falls in line with between automotive and art in terms of the ROI. Quite coincidental. Automotive is pretty close to the power generator niche, so it's about that much in terms of content ROI. So it's pretty good. Bear in mind that there's about 35 niches that I went over. So if we're looking at the top 10 here and it falls in the middle of the top 10, this is pretty good in terms of content ROI. Now let's look at backlink investment. So to do that, we'll look at your SEO tool of choice, and we would load up 10powerup.com. We're going to look at a few things here. We're going to look at the DR number. We're going to look at the backlink number. We're going to look at the RD number and stuff like that. But we're going to make a table again. We're going to look at revenue. That's $3,000. The number of backlinks that were put in. So 2.62K, that's 2,620 backlinks. And then we can see that the revenue per link is about $1.16. Now, we look at the study that I did, and we look at this table. Again, this is a top 10 table of backlink ROI. And we'll see here, it doesn't quite make the top 10, but it's pretty close. The sports niche, over the overall category, averaging every single website that was sold in the sports niche, averaged about $1.17 dollars per link that they build. And the fact that this website is kind of like right below that, I mean, it's not the best in terms of backlink ROI, but it's not far off. Now, this is also very important. We look at the number of the backlinks that were created, but we also look at the DR, right? So if we do a similar calculation, we look at 3,000 divided by 28, the DR for the website, we see a revenue per DR of 109. And I can tell you from experience, that's pretty good. They built a lot of backlinks. They built a lot of referring domains, but they didn't build very many good ones. And that's easy to replicate or overpower with the type of link building that we do in this course. So at this point, we found a great niche. We can decide to go into it or not. If we decide we want to go for the niche, do we want to build a niche site? Do we want to build an authority site? We're going to check their affiliate programs. Because we know an exact website that is ranking in this niche, we looked at its ROI, we decided we want to go into it, we can throw it into our SEO tool of choice, pull out all our keywords, and we see these are the keywords that are making them money. Then we can start to make a content plan and do our keyword research as such. But my recommendation for you is to always keep searching. Just because this is the first one I found, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to always keep searching. In fact, I'm going to make this a habit, a weekly habit. So let's see what happens if I keep searching. Now, this is an example website. This is a website that I found maybe a few months ago. I labeled it xxx.com. It's not actually a porn site. This is just kind of blanked out. But let me just show you an example of a killer niche. And the reason I'm not showing this is because I just deployed in this niche. And if I tell you guys what it is, everyone in the course is going to make the same damn website, and no one's going to make money. Okay. But let me just show you some numbers. So this website was making $12,000 a month. It had invested 104 pages of content. So its revenue for content is about $116. Putting that up against the categorical breakdown of revenue per content, it blows past all of them. It's an amazing niche to get into. it will tell you it is within one of these categories, but it was an outlier within one of them, so it really brought up its average. So yes, this is awesome in terms of content investment. Let's look at backlink investment. Okay, so here's the website. The revenue again, 12,000 per month, has a lot of backlinks, 13,000 backlinks. The revenue per link is terrible. If we put that up against here, it's not even in the top 10. It's not very good at all. But if we look at the revenue per DR, sorry, that should be DR here. So we have 12,000 divided by 21. That's 579 compared to the 100 from before. So this is an example of an awesome niche to get into. This is one you want to write down. You want to go after it right away or put it on the to-do list for later. So as I've kind of hinted at earlier, you want to get good at this. And what I recommend doing is searching and scanning marketplaces each week as a affiliate website builder, and eventually moving into the role of a portfolio owner. This is going to be one of your primary tasks. You're going to move past the simple tasks of writing content for yourself, building backlinks, interlinking pages. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're managing the portfolio. And this is one of the most primary tasks, most important tasks that you need to be focusing on, which is niche selection. So you want to refine your skills at identifying these great ROI niches. The skills don't take much. Basically, you're just looking at these same calculations that I just showed you, and you're getting a feel for what is good content ROI, what is good backlink ROI. And the reason I haven't really just put in some hard and fast numbers and say a $300 backlink or DR ROI is good is because these numbers change over time. That's why you want to look at these numbers all the time, every week, and get used to them, get used to the way things are moving in the industry, and get a gut feel for this kind of stuff. Create a to-do list of unicorn niches. And what you're going to use this to-do list for is for new websites. So perhaps this niche that I found, I'm going to deploy that on a brand new website, or perhaps I'm going to add that onto an existing authority site. Remember, just because you already have a website deployed in a certain niche doesn't mean you wouldn't find a sub niche that's great to cover for that particular niche. And again, start with Flippa and then move on to other marketplaces. Flippa's great because it's free, but once you have a little bit of cash flow and you can put deposits down, Empire Flippers in FE International are great for looking at more established websites, and also keep the option open for buying websites. A lot of times it might just be better and you find a great deal, and it's better just to buy a website rather than starting from scratch. Lastly, what you're going to want to do is join groups. So there's various groups that I'm a part of that review websites and review the marketplaces and review different niches. I've left them in the resource section. They change over time. I usually join new ones, I abandon ones. So just look at the resource section and it'll always be up to date. And you can get insider information on what are some great niches and websites to buy.